Welcome back to GSMC's Down by Contact Sports Podcast. I am your host, Jeremy Lapidus. Today is Thursday, January 23rd. If you were just tuning in, we just finished going over the Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year awards as we continue our NFL awards show this year. In this segment, we're going to get to the last of the NFL awards, the Offensive and Defensive Rookies of the Year. These two are really interesting as well. There's a couple of teammates going at it for the Defensive Rookie of the Year, and a couple of guys, all five of which I think in any other year would deserve to win the Rookie of the Year. The rookies were just amazing this year in a class that I think could go down as potentially the best ever in the NFL. Maybe, though. We'll see about that. But before we get into that, remember, if you would like to be an even bigger part of the show than you already are, all you need to do is go to gsmcpodcast.net. Or if you are on YouTube, you can use that super chat feature. If you do either of those two things, a message should pop up on the bottom of the screen for you, me, and everybody else around the world to see. If you do have a burning question about sports, anything at all that you would like to ask, go ahead and throw that in the comments. Throw it in the chat. I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. I appreciate everybody so much for sticking around, talking some sports with me here on a beautiful Thursday, January 23rd. But like I was saying, we are going to get into our fourth segment of the day, the Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year. We have our finalists, and we're going to start off with the Defensive Rookie of the Years this time. At number 5 here, I'm going to go with Braden Fisk. Braden Fisk had an amazing season as a partner with Jared Verse and that entire Rams defensive line. Again, playoffs do not matter in these awards, but looking at just the playoffs in their last 2 games, that Rams defensive line had 16 sacks, good for third most all time in playoff history in a single run, most all time per game in the playoffs at 8 per game, which is wild. The 2 teams ahead of them both had 3 games played. That is something that is hard to replicate. Braden Fisk had an amazing year. But he is at number 5 here for me. At number 4, I'm going to go with Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean wasn't starting every single game this season. They started off a little bit slow. Because of that, he's going to be a little bit lower on the list for me. He's been a really, really valuable asset for that Eagles team. Overall, I don't think this race is super close. Quinyon Mitchell, his teammate, I think is a little bit higher above him in these rankings for a reason. I think he had a better season overall. And I think if it's going to happen this year where a corner gets it done, it's been a long time, but I think this is the one. At number 3, I'm putting Chop Robinson, the rookie from the Dolphins. He was just a disruptive force coming off the edge. He didn't have the most flashy season, but when he's just a speed rusher, right? When he gets around the edge, he gets around the edge quickly. He's not the greatest run defender, and you can attack him a little bit, but what he's able to do rushing the quarterback deserves a lot of props. He's here at number 3 for me. At number 2 is that aforementioned Quinyon Mitchell. Quinyon Mitchell, a little bit ahead of his teammate. He started every single game. He shut down Terry McLaurin and a lot of other guys that the Eagles have had to face this season. I think he deserves a lot of love for what he's been able to do. And because of that, Quinyon Mitchell is at number 2. But at number 1, and the runaway favorite for me, is Jared Verse. Jared Verse is the Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's the guy that I think ran away with this award. The rookie out of Florida State with his teammate Braden Fisk, who's also up for this award, just dominated this season. He is a beast, and the Rams built an absolute masterclass of a defensive line, right? Losing one of the best defenders in the history of the NFL, losing Aaron Donald, they're able to replicate him in the aggregate like that. It's incredibly impressive. It's not something that I expected them to be able to do so quickly and so effectively, but they have, and they have the Defensive Rookie of the Year, Jared Verse, to thank for that. But heading over to the offensive side, this side is crazy, right? This is an offensive rookie class that is going to be just a problem as we get further into their futures. But there are historic performances up and down the board here. At number 5, it's Bo Nix, and he's the only one that I can't really see winning this award from the Offensive Rookie of the Year perspective. Bo Nix is a guy that I think had a great season. He set the rookie touchdown records, breaking Andrew Luck's record that he previously held, and he had a great season. But like I said, overall, his numbers we're hiding the fact that he was checking down the ball a lot. He struggled in the early season, and he struggled against good teams. He was able to air it out against bad teams, as the Broncos played a pretty weak schedule this year. They really did. Outside of their division, the rest of that schedule was not that hard. They feasted on some weak defenses, and they did their job. They did their job well. They got to the playoffs, and Bo Nix played really good ball. He did. And he was doing it injured as well, which is crazy. But I just don't think he has the numbers or the kind of season to compete with the historic performances of a lot of these other rookies out there. At number 4, I'm putting Malik Nabers. Malik Nabers made history. He, at one point, had the all-time record for catches by a rookie, only to be outdone by a fellow rookie later on that same week. He has the record for wide receiver catches in a single season as a rookie, one that was set just last season by Puka Nacua. He was the offense for the Giants. He did it with three different quarterbacks. He did it with Daniel Jones, or 4 actually. He did it with Daniel Jones. He did it with Tommy DeVito. He did it with Drew Lock, and he caught a couple passes from our good old friend Tim Boyle as well, right? A guy that I don't think should be in the NFL, but that's a completely different tangent, a completely different rant. Malik Nabers was awesome, and he's going to be an elite receiver going further into the future, but he just doesn't have that. He just doesn't have the numbers. Missed a couple games. His season could have been even bigger if he didn't miss 3 games with a concussion early in the middle of that season. Imagine what his numbers could have been. He could have been trying to get with Jamar Chase style numbers if he was able to play just a few more games on a really bad Giants team. That's incredibly impressive. At number 3 is Brian Thomas Jr., the LSU teammate of Malik Nabers. Look at that. 3 LSU guys on this list, 2 of them at number 4 and number 3. This is crazy. Crazy success from a crazy good wide receiver. He was number 4 in the NFL overall, not just in rookies, number 4 overall in the NFL for receiving yards on a bad Jaguars team. He was pacing everybody in his rookie class. It is incredibly impressive to see what he has been able to do, especially on a bad Jaguars team. He deserves a lot of credit. Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be a problem as we get further on into his career in the NFL. He is an amazing player, an amazing product, and that LSU team last year was crazy if they have all of these players coming out in the NFL in the first round, especially on not great teams. Catching passes from Mac Jones, catching passes from an injured Trevor Lawrence. Very impressive. He's number 3. At number 2, I have Brock Bowers, and this was a tough one. I've been dying and fighting on this Brock Bowers for Offensive Rookie of the Year hill for a very, very long time. Brock Bowers is a guy that deserves so much credit. He is the guy that has the record for receptions by a rookie. He just had definitively the best rookie tight end season in the history of the NFL, smashing Mike Ditka's records that was standing since the 1960s. That is how crazy it has been. That is how long it has been since since a tight end put up numbers like that. Side note, Mike Ditka did that in 14 games. He was amazing as a tight end as a rookie. That's ridiculous that no other tight end has done it in that entire 16-game era. It took until Brock Bowers did it this year. But Brock Bowers, similarly to Malik Nabers, was doing it with just a rotation at quarterback. He caught passes from, of course, Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell, but he also caught passes from Desmond Ridder. Desmond Ridder came in and was throwing him passes, and he was amazing. He was the reason that Raiders team isn't picking any higher. He is really, really good at football. He kind of played his way out of he played his way out of a quarterback or drafting a quarterback. But that's fine. What he was able to do this season, the only rookie to be named to the first team All-Pro team, he was the best tight end in football and the best rookie tight end of all time. That's crazy. Brock Bowers is at number 2, and he probably should deserve a little more credit for this award, but he just happened to run into Jaden Daniels. This has happened 2 years in a row now. Records have been smashed by a wide receiver or a tight end, and a quarterback swoops in with one of the best rookie seasons we've ever seen and snatches the award away from him. Puka was last year getting snatched away by CJ Stroud, and now Jaden Daniels come in out of LSU and becomes the savior for Washington football. No one has been able to do what he has been able to do in this time period in over 20 years in the NFL. It is incredibly impressive. He turned this team from a 5-win team to a 12-win team. He performed miracles, a Hail Mary, some incredible stuff in the 2-minute drill. He is a special talent. He has led his team to the NFC Conference Championship game. He is a guy that is going to be a problem in the NFL. In my opinion, he's the 5th best quarterback in the NFL. He is the Pro Bowl, one of the Pro Bowl nominees for the NFC, and he's doing all this in his rookie season. Jaden Daniels is amazing. Jaden Daniels is the Rookie of the Year, and I don't think it's that close, despite all of the historic performances being put on by rookies around the league this year, especially on the offensive side of the ball. It's insane. Every single one of these guys in the rookie class deserved a little bit more credit because, like I said, I think this might be the best rookie class in the history of the NFL, offensive and defensive side included. It's crazy how talented this rookie class was. But let me know what your thoughts are real quick before we move on. The Comeback Player of the Year award is a little bit interesting as well. The Comeback Player of the Year award is something that has been pushed to the back burner because it's a weird award, right? The 5 nominees for this one, Damar Hamlin at number 5, he's just on there because he didn't win it last year. He didn't come back from anything this year, and while he's a great story, he doesn't deserve to win it this year. He should have won it last year over Joe Flacco, and that I will die on, but instead, he's here at number 5. He's a guy that's probably going to get these nominated for this award, I will say, for a very, very long time, but he's not going to win it. At number 4, Christian Gonzalez, one of the best corners in the NFL, playing that star position, just traveling around with the best receiver on New England. He's done a really good job on a really bad defense, and I think he deserves a lot of credit. At number 3, Sam Darnold. I think these top 3 guys all deserve a little bit of credit for winning, for a potential to win this award. Sam Darnold came out of nowhere. And if we're going off of the award last year, I think he wins it. I think he's a guy that deserves to win this award. But if we're going off of the spirit of it and what it was, like they said, they're trying to do comeback from injury kind of thing, the NFL said, it's going to be down to J.K. Dobbins and Joe Burrow. And at the end of the day, Joe Burrow put up historic stats. He put up the best quarterback statistical performance in all of the NFL. He's going to end up winning this award, but I think J.K. Dobbins deserves it. I think J.K. Dobbins, fighting back from not 1, not 2, but 3 major injuries over the course of his career, finally playing basically a full season, and he was going to win it if he didn't go down for 3 or 4 weeks near the end of the season, but he came back, and he played great football, and he's one of the reasons why the Chargers were in the playoffs. I would say he's the biggest reason the Chargers were in the playoffs this year. J.K. Dobbins is the guy that I think should win it, but I think Joe Burrow is going to end up winning this award. I'm picking J.K. Dobbins to be my Comeback Player of the Year, though. But let me know what your thoughts are on any of these awards. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And thank you, everybody, so much for tuning in to today's episode of GSMC's Down by Contact Sports Podcast. I have been your host, Jeremy Lapidus. We'll be back tomorrow doing predictions for the NFL Conference Championship round and anything else that's going to happen around the world of sports. I appreciate all of you for sticking around, talking some sports with me. Y'all have a good one. Bye-bye.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great.